Morning everybody, cheerio, Kim Ye. So good morning, I hope you're all keeping well. Just going to try and get this working properly now so you can actually see my head and my feet this time. So like all our classes members, go through the motion, loosening out, starting at the top, working all the way down. So neck, shoulders, backward motion, arms around, forward. Okay, hands out in front, hands to the back. Excellent, just from the waist, one side to the other. So don't rush this, members. I'm kind of going through the motions just to show, to make sure that we're all aware of what techniques and what exercises we should be doing. Please take several minutes to go through this. This is like a 10-minute kind of warm-up, loose-up session. I'm going through it fairly quickly. Again, if you're following along, brilliant. But while I'm kind of explaining certain things, we can still go through the same thing. So again, ankle exercise. So two different ways of doing the ankle exercise. One, we can go up into the ball of the foot and then roll the knee around, which is actually rolling that joint on your ankle. Or two, you can lift it into the air and draw circles with your toes. So each one has its own benefit. When you're on the ball of your foot, you can apply a little bit of pressure and then kind of help work it out that little bit more. And when you have your foot into the air, you have balance. So we're also working on our balance to be able to stand and rotate the foot around. So equally as good. Okay, so from there again, like other exercise we do, feet together, fully closed, hands just on your thighs, and then half circles with your knees. So bend around to the opposite side and back. Bend around and back. So don't lock the knees back out when we finish, just rotate around and then come back in nice and gently. So all we're doing is just loosening out those knees. One of the key factors I suppose an awful lot of people in martial arts and sport in general do is they can damage their knees fairly easily. So it is very important that we look after every joint that we have within our body. Okay, once we've gone through that motion, open your toes a little bit, so keep your heels together, and then again, hands same position, down, 1, 2, and then back. As we come back, bend from the waist, so we're getting a stretch on the back of the leg at the same time. So very important that we can stretch out our legs as well. I'm going to tilt this down a small little bit because I don't think you'll be able to see my feet. Excellent. Okay, so again we have gone through the motions. It's the same ideas again. Okay, so once we've gone through that dynamic loosening out of the body, then we can go through a little bit of static loosening out. So same thing, starting off right hand, right over your shoulder, and then looking over your right shoulder. So again, puts that extra little bit of a strain on your shoulder because you're loosening it out. Very, very important. Then we go on the opposite side, same idea again. Excellent, and then we can go behind. So placing your hand behind. Some people are flexible enough to be able to reach. Unfortunately, I'm not. So I use this hand, grabbing onto the elbow, and I'm pressing it down. And once you do it, you will feel the stretch in all the different parts of your body. And that's the key part. You'll know where this is. If you don't feel it, then either your muscles are ridiculously loose, or you're double jointed or something like that. So there's individuals out there that don't feel any of this, which is great. But just remember, keep stretching it out, keep loosening it out, because as we get older, parts of our body stiffen up and all that, so it gets just that little bit harder to keep loose. So every day, go through the same motions. Okay, so next one's join your fingers together and then pressing forward. So from there, what you're trying to do here is separate your two, the back. So you've got your shoulder blades, so you're trying to separate that as far forward as you can, so you're really stretching out your back. Okay, then from there, we can go the opposite direction, where you're actually pushing your shoulder blades in on each other by just turning your hands. So again, try not to be cracking your fingers. That's not the intention of this one. You just push forward. Excellent. Now from there, hands behind your back, and then pull them away from your body as far as you can. So don't get into this where we're leaning forward. That's not the important part. It's just pulling the arms back. Again, you'll start feeling the stretch within your chest, within your arms, and certain parts of your back as well. So very, very important. Okay, as I had mentioned last night, we are going to go through quite a bit of stretching this morning. Again, just exercises that we can all do at home, and in case we've forgotten, that we can just go through a few of them. So starting off, nice and easy, double shoulder width. Very, very simple. Just once we get used and get comfortable into this position, keeping the back nice and straight. So from there, we're going to turn to my right. So bending the leading knee and turning that foot down. So what's very, very important is the bend over the leading knee. Don't overbend it. It shouldn't be gone beyond the heel. Keep it in line with the heel. And if this is too easy, then we push the back leg out. That's the key part, and we're just driving the hips down. So from there, if you want to make this a little bit more fun instead of just standing there, then turn your hip. Turn back around, turn your hip. So this is like an extremely exaggerated walking stance or low stance, and we're getting used to that hip motion as well at the same time. So we're turning and we're pressing down. Pressing down. And again, I always use my hands because it really helps me exaggerate that turn on the waist. Once we've gone through that motion, then we can turn to the opposite side. Same idea again, pressing down, getting that foot into the right position, and then hands turning. Hands turning. So again, it's just helping me guide what way my body's facing. So there's no point going here and going, yep, I'm turning. And we don't really get it. So if you have your hands in there and your hands are working, because if you start doing this, you'll notice. So again, turn the body as we're going around. Excellent. Very, very important. Up and down. Okay, so from there then we can go back to the first side. So just always alternate. Make sure that we're doing it on both sides. So turn, lift the heel off the ground on the back foot. Bend the back knee ever so slightly. And then keep the body up straight. Hands maybe on your legs, maybe on your waist, maybe just relaxed. Completely up to yourself, whatever you feel comfortable with. What is important on this though, is to make sure that we have our stance is roughly a shoulder width. If you make it narrow, we're going to be balancing all the time and it gets very difficult. So we want to be comfortable in this. We want to be able to benefit from the stretch, not be worried about our balance all the time. So hold from there, hold it for maybe, 30 seconds, just loosening it out. And then after we hit 30 seconds, for maybe 5 to 10 seconds after that, bend the knee down. You will really feel this keeping the body up straight, just holding it in position, really working and stretching out all those muscles in your legs. Hold it for, as I said, 5 to 10 seconds, and then come back, and then we will go through to the center. Once we go through the center, then we do it on the opposite side. So same idea again, back into our stance, turn the body around, lift the heel off the ground, and hold that position. If we find it's too easy, move the back foot, sitting down. I mean, this should be comfortable. We shouldn't be getting all aches in our back or anything like that. If we are, more than likely it's because we're leaning forward and trying to straighten our back at the same time. So if that's the case, bring the stance in. Make it a little bit shorter. The whole thing about stretching, members, is it shouldn't be uncomfortable. You should feel the stretch, and the stretch is good. But if we start feeling pain, then that's bad. That means we've either gone too far in the stretch, or we're not doing it properly, and it's going to create pain. And then what that usually means is we won't enjoy the stretch. So it's very, very important that we enjoy the stretch. Then we'll do it a little bit more. Okay. Just give me 1 second. I'm just going to check computer. Make sure we're up to speed. Okay. Everything seems to be in order. I'm hoping that you can see my feet. You can see. I think you can definitely see my head this time. So fingers crossed, we're all in the shot. So from there, next one that we're going to do, I'll just stand sideways just to show. So from here, fold your arms. So fold your arms, keep your arms in close to your body, and then bend from your waist down. So try to keep your back straight. On this one now, you're going to feel the stretch on the backs of your legs. So just keep your arms folded. Don't let your head drop down. Try to keep your head up and arms folded. The next one from there, we just extend the arms out. So keeping them folded, just extend them. So not from in the body, bring them away from the body and then stretch. Typically what happens is when you're doing that, you lean forward a bit more, which means your backside has to go back. Puts it a little bit more strain and stretch on the backs of your legs. So here, we can just hold it down. When we go out, we can just feel it. Again, gripping with the toes. Now, next one from there is just relax the body down. So hands, backs of your hands, fists, go through any motion that you want to be doing just while we're in this position. Again, try not to go too far forward, just keeping the hands nice and relaxed. Okay, excellent. So from that position then, we can go beyond. See if we can go down and get our elbows onto the ground as we relax into it. So elbows in the different shapes. Just going through the motion, keeping it nice and relaxed. And then from there, hands down and head down. So try to get the head down and get it as close to the feet as possible. There's no point in leaning forward this way like a push-up. So it's very, very important. As we're in this position here, we're keeping the head as close to the body as we can. It really works out the legs. Okay, so from there, then we're just going to go into lifting the hands up. So now all of the weight is going to go back onto our legs. Hands up, sliding the hands down the legs, and then head back down. So once we get into that position, typically hold it for maybe 20 to 30 seconds. And again, if it's sore, bring the body back up, because we can do it in bursts. We don't have to do it in one long 20 to 30 second group. We can break it down a little bit, do it in 10 seconds. Relax, come back out of it, go back into it. So the more we repeat, the easier the stretch is going to be. Okay, excellent. So now once we come back up from that one, next one that we're going to do then is just a little bit of dynamic stretching while we're there. But when I say this, I mean very much midsection. So from here, just to loosening out the legs, up, opposite legs, but making sure the hand goes no higher than your shoulder. Even if we can, at this stage now, don't. Just keep it nice and relaxed. So it's just dynamic, up and down all the time. Breathing out as we swing the leg. So we're nice and relaxed, so out. And then keep going, just keeping it nice and loose. Once we get into that and we're finished, then we can start doing leg swings across the body. If we have somebody at home or something at home to hold a hand out, we can then exercise up and around. Start practicing your stances at this stage, controlling, up and around, and then back down. So facing forward, up, around, and then back down. Up, around, and then back down. So everything's controlled. We're not under any pressure, we're not panicking, we're just trying to control the legs, keep everything nice and easy. Okay, so again, keeping the legs nice and loose. What we'll then do is just fast motion, kind of skipping out the legs. So we can either do this in a front kick, we can do it in a leg swing, we can do it in a downward kick, we can do it in a turning kick. All we're doing is just from there, kick, change legs, kick, change legs, front kick, change legs, front kick, downward kick, apoligi, back to front kick, back to front kick, back to turning kick. And all we're doing, if you notice on the feet, is we're just changing. So we've done the technique, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and try and keep the legs going out. That's going to build up your heart rate. It's going to get your temperature up. It's going to get you sweating and all, which is good. So again, probably 15 seconds, stop, 15 seconds, stop, 15 seconds, stop. Because really what we want to do is we want to just get used to that motion of changing the foot position, and again, keeping that leg fast. So from the waist, the leg, the knee, the foot, all nice and relaxed, so it goes up effortless. What we don't want is big tense, and we're trying to kick. That will go against everything that we're trying to do for flexibility. Okay, so once we've gone through them, next one we're going to do is we're going to get back down to the ground. This one's a little bit easier again, more of a static stretch than a dynamic stretch. So knee down, foot back into the first position like we had, so keeping the foot pointing straight, and then just relaxing. So stretch out that back leg, try and have an angle on that back leg, not straight. So we don't want this one straight, we want it angled forward. So you're really pushing your hips down into the ground. Okay, so from this position, the next one we're going to do is straighten your front leg. Now ideally what's going to happen here is on your ankle, up along the front, you're going to want your foot to do this. You have to try and stop yourself from doing that. Try and keep your foot flat to the ground. Okay, so that's important. Just checking that we can see. So keep that foot flat onto the ground, stretch that front ankle all the way out, and then relax back into it. Okay, back again, and then relax back into it. Okay, so from there, now push that back leg out that little bit more, really stretching in. Now from here, we're going to go onto the inside of the body. Place your hands down. Just relax. Again, all the time, breathing, keeping it nice and relaxed. These are great exercises to do at home. And again, we're not under any hurry or rush. Just relax into it. Okay, now from there, back up to the normal position. Now we're going to lift the heel up. So when we lift the heel up, the first one that we're going to do is we're going to actually go back. So we're going to sit back on the back leg, keeping that heel and keeping the body slightly forward. You want to just move in, make sure you can still see. So from here, the position, foot up, front leg straight, then we sit back onto the back leg. Okay, leaning forward, touching your toes, both hands, one hand, whatever is relaxed, whatever is comfortable. and then we can come back into this position. Okay, now just face the opposite direction. So same idea from here, then we sit back, and then we're stretching forward. Okay, so from there then members, the next one will be is going into that full maximum stretch that we can get. So extending out that back leg, up onto the heels, and then push down. Push right down. As far down as we can. I haven't done this stretch, I think, in a long, long time. But it's not too bad. Still feel it. Again, this is the importance of always stretching. I might not do this one, but I do a lot of my other stretches. So once we get into this position, again, we go through this on both sides, members. The next one then, the natural thing to do is to bend that back foot and then sit down. We'll go into the hurdle stretch. So like when we're doing jumping over hurdles, maybe not us, but the athletes that do it, this is the stretch. So knee bent, try and get that angle that it's not 90 degrees. We want to try and go beyond 90 degrees, and then we're going to lean forward into it. So from there, lean forward, lean to the front, and if we wish, we can come up onto the legs, lift your backside slightly off the ground, and lean forward in. So really go forward in, and down, and up. So that in itself, just being able to lift your body up and down, is a real testament to the strength of your legs. And all that flexibility and stretching that we have, we can come up and we can go back down. Okay, so make sure that we get that done on both sides. Very, very important. Okay, tilt it down because I'm doing a lot of this now on the ground, so probably more important that you can see the ground. Excellent. So once we've done it on both sides, members, we go through the motion. Then we're going to change. So we're going to bring that front leg, or sorry, what would have been the back leg, to the front, and then tucking it in. Very important that we try and keep this knee down. So not so important to lean forward, more important to keep that knee down, don't have it up here. And once we get into this position, try and be comfortable with the body. What we don't want is, we don't want slouching back. Very, very important, keeping the body upright, keeping that knee down. Once we get into this, by all means we can then start stretching out, 2 hands, 1 hand, reversed hand, just loosening it all the way out. Very, very important. Excuse me. Okay, so we're going through that motion, which is brilliant. Now, the next one that we will do is we bring that same leg and we go over the body. So this time it goes flat into the ground. So this time the hands will be used. So as we rotate, we pull the knee over and then we rotate the body around to the opposite side. So try to keep that foot flat down, front leg straight up, and then pulling it across to the opposite side. Okay, so as we go through them, give yourself a couple of minutes in between them. Because again, I want the legs to be fresh as we're doing all these different exercises. So everything that we do, make sure that we do it on both sides. Very, very important. There's no point in just doing one side and being very, very flexible on one leg. We have to be as flexible on both legs. Okay, so next one, we're going to just open the legs. Nice and easy. So this is an exercise, members, we can do watching telly. We can do it any time that we want. Very important, just get comfortable into this position. So if we're feeling that it's very uncomfortable on our back, start off against the wall. Because being against the wall will help keep that back straight. Once we get into it, then we can just get comfortable. Anything that's leaning forward is better. Leaning back, hands back here, is not so good. So keeping the legs opened, hands in front. So from there, all we're going to do is 1 hand in front, 1 hand in back, lift up the legs, hold, and we change, hold. We don't have to hold it for that long, couple of seconds. You know, I wouldn't say any more than 5 seconds, and then back down. When you're in this position, again, like we did in the last video, loosening out the hands, using the knife hands into the legs, helps work out the knife hand, also keeps the legs nice and loose. So, little massage in and around. Very important as well, keep them nice and loose. So at all times then, we can slide the hands in, push the legs out further, we can lift the body, drive it forward, constantly pushing yourself forward, getting more and more comfortable into that position. So from there, we can then bend forward, holding the hands out to the front, we can go to the left leg, we can go to the right leg, and then coming back into the center. So making sure that this position here is the relaxed position, that we don't come out of the left leg and go and start falling around. We go to the left leg, we come back to this. This is position, this is relaxed. Then we go to the right leg, we come back, this is relaxed. Then we can go over the head. So from there, over the head, to your left, over the head, to your right, and then back. So again, this becomes the relaxed, natural position. This is what we want to be doing. Okay, excellent. So from there, next one, we'll just join the soles of your feet in together, and then at the start, keep them nice and loose, up and down with the knees. So from there, we can then use grabbing a hold of our ankles, use your elbow, press the legs down a little bit. That's it, brilliant. Now, if you're lucky enough to have, I won't say young children, but somebody that's not so heavy, let them stand on your legs. Yeah, and again, this is probably more for like adult members than children. I don't want our young children to be going, here Dad, come stand on my legs, because that's not what they're meant for. So, a little bit of pressure, typically standing against the wall. So if I was this way, against the wall, somebody can then step up one leg, put their hands against the wall, and then up to the second leg. So one of the great things is just build it up, or you can have them sitting down in front, letting them push your legs down. Likewise, when you're in this stretch and you're leaning forward, get somebody behind you to push you forward. Because it's very hard to do it yourself. That little bit of encouragement always really, really helps, and makes it a bit easier for us to do. If we have somebody else at home that's willing to stretch, so as we have our legs in this position, they can sit similar, join their feet into the inside of your legs, grabbing a hold of your arms, and then whoever's legs are on the outside is going to go forward, and whoever's legs are on the inside are going to lean back. And what they're going to do is they're going to push your legs that will go wider as they pull you forward. So great exercise if you have somebody else to do this with at home. Okay, so again, just facing forward in here, nice and relaxed. So just sitting back. So be able to sit back into this position here. What's very, very important is that we loosen out this ankle exercise. Or not the exercise, but the ankle itself. So keeping that nice and relaxed. So for any members that do swimming, do triathlons or anything like that, it's very important that this ankle joint here is very relaxed. Some people can only do this. They can't bend that down much at all. So this is a great exercise for doing it. If it's sore, like I said, do it on something soft. So these are nice mats. Put a pillow underneath your feet. Put something soft, but then just up and then down. And then the more you can then lean back into it, you're really, really putting the stretch onto those ankles, which is very, very important, keeping them nice and loose. I'm sure there's kids and all that out there that can lean and put their head back against the ground. I'm not even going to try because there's nobody here with me and I won't be able to get back up if I do. So once you're into that position, the next one then is open out your feet. So just open out the feet, or the knees should I say, not so much the feet. So from the back position, keep your feet relatively close to each other, but then open out and then just sitting back. Once again, this is one of those exercises where we can do and just hold that position for, I mean this one we could probably hold for 5 to 10 to 15 minutes. Just getting in there nice and relaxed. So the more you do this, the easier it gets. The outside of my ankle is the only part of this I actually feel is a stretch. Other than that, it's really developing all the muscles and all in our legs. So very, very important to do. Okay, so we've gone through a lot on the legs. Typically arms and all that are relatively easy to do. So some great ones you can do with your arm. And it's going to be difficult for me to show this. I will try. But imagine there was a wall here. We can do a reverse knife hand or closed fist if we have to. Place it in and then push your hand against the wall and drive your body forward. Now, the wall's not going to be here. So it'll be like a pillar or a door or something where I can then push. Really, we're then going to start stretching out that shoulder, keeping it nice and loose, stretching out. Even without the wall, I can actually feel here, as long as I don't bring my hand forward, I bring my shoulder forward, I can actually feel that stretch without the wall. You bring the wall into play, gets an awful lot better. Okay, so from there, again, I don't think we have anything that I can necessarily show you with. Maybe you can see from here, if we have something small, lifting your foot up onto it. If we can go that little bit higher, lift your foot up onto it and then stretching. So stretch not only to the leg that's up on the ground, we can also then stretch to the leg that's down on the ground. So the one on the ledge, the one on the ground, use a chair, use a table, use anything that we have in our house. It can all turn into a training implement very, very easily. We don't need all the expensive equipment. As you see, I'm standing in a hall with nothing, just using anything that I have to my surroundings. So very, very important. Okay, as we do at the start of every class, members, we loosen up our neck. Very important, but again, that's a lot of the dynamic stretching where we're just loosening it around. From there, use your hand, pulling over to the side. And then you'll start feeling the stretch to one side of your neck. We can then change. We can go to the other side of your neck. And then from there, 2 hands pressing down. Try to get your chin right into your chest, all the way down. Excellent. So little different things we can do, loosening out our bodies. Okay, go back to your fingers. Turn your hand around, pull your fingers back in. Now you're going to feel the stretch in your fingers. Again, along with your forearm as we're going in. So stretch and stretch, very, very important. Okay, so last one that we'll do then. And again, anybody that does yoga or any of these other exercises, these are all going to be fairly straightforward. But this is just loosening out your back. So again, hip down, the instep of your feet onto the ground, and then hands straight, arch your back. So from there we can go to the ball of the feet, and then we can change position, and then roll forward, again, loosening out your back. So change position, roll forward, loosening out your back. Get a few of them in, you'll start feeling the body getting nice and loose. Okay, so again, that's probably only maybe 30 minutes. But the likes of stretching classes can take up to an hour, can take up to 2 hours. So take your time going through them. Very, very important. Don't be rushing anything. Take your time. So I'm going to stop this video now. I will continue on with the next video, which will be just some fundamental moves that we can go through together. So just to keep the videos relatively small, I'll finish this one. We start the next one in a minute. Cheerio. Come here. Take one. Thank you.